Day. Back in the days when I was younger, my parents used to own businesses, clothing businesses, and they had a store called Pants for All. It was in the city of Monrovia, California. When we were younger, our parents didn't believe to put us in any babysitting, so we would always go to work with them. In fact, in the back of the store, we had a whole room to ourselves where there was a couch bed, there was food, there was a TV, our toys, our bikes. So that's what kept us company while my parents were in the front minding their business with the clients. As we grew up, we always saw how our parents dealt with clients and how they were very friendly in order to deal with the clients' customer service. So it was not very hard for us to be friendly as well with clients because as we saw our parents, we learned from them. So this happened approximately back in the late 1970s. I was about 4 years old. And while my brother and I were playing outside in front, there was a huge sidewalk in front of the shopping center where we were allowed to play. And our parents would come in and out and watch us while we were playing outside. But this was one of those strange days. As I decided to go out and play with my bike. My brother had went in for something, and at the time, there seemed to have been some kind of distraction in the office, or there was some kind of problem, or my dad was basically very busy that day. He used to watch us when we stepped outside while he didn't attend to us. He could see us from the window of the store quite clearly, and we knew not to leave the area in front of the store. So as I was playing outside, there came this lady, and she was wearing an all white, very clean, looked brand new outfit. She was wearing a nurse outfit. And as she saw that I was by myself, she decided to come and talk with me, knowing that my dad was busy inside the store. I always wonder if the person in the store distracting my dad was a part of this whole scene that was about to play. So as I was talking with the lady, she was very, very friendly, and she'd say, she'd reach down and she would talk to me and presenting how she knew exactly how to talk to children. And she first asked my name. I gave her my name. She asked me some questions, and sooner or later, next thing you know, I thought this lady was my friend. So as she looked around while I was playing, she came once again and started talking to me again. It looked like she was worried about someone watching me while she looked behind her shoulders, and yet she would come back to me and talk some more. As I got to know her, she seemed like a very nice lady. So as she was communicating with me, she had offered me some candy. And of course, being a little kid at 4 years old, sounded like something good. I was quite hungry at the time. So she said that she held my hands and we walked over to her car. And as she opened the door, she said, "Please enter." She didn't say please enter. She just pointed over to go inside. And she said the candy was in the glove compartment, which she actually opened. And there was, wow, just snacks and all the things that a child would wish for. So as I was looking through and she said, "Help yourself," she sat right next to me, and as I was waiting as to what was next to happen, all I knew is that she had slowly turned on the engine of the vehicle. And back in the days, these vehicles had a loud engine sound. So as my brother came out, it looks like he was looking for me. He noticed I wasn't in. He ran into the store, back into the shop, and said to my dad, "Cynthia is not outside. I think she went somewhere." So he quickly ran out. As he looked, he heard the engine of the car, and all I can remember is being grabbed from my shoulder and yanked out of the vehicle. And I know I had did something wrong, but I didn't know what it was that I did wrong. I was only a child of 4 years old. As the lady dialogued with my father, my father came and told her, what are you doing?" And she said that I had come into her car, making her the innocent one. So my dad was very angry. He was yelling at her. Um, she was just slowly rolling out of the parking lot. She had taken off. At the time, my dad didn't really know to call 911 or what the situation after someone does such a thing. He did recognize her. He felt like he recognized her before as if she was a customer that has come several times. He doesn't recall that she's ever purchased anything, but she was familiar with the store and with us. And in fact, he believed she had come several times before. He didn't bother to call the police. He felt that he was the one that was not the one responsible for not paying attention, and he didn't know, whether this lady had a good intention or bad intention, but the fact that she had turned on the engine kind of tells you what she was planning. So as they say, when it rains, it pours. Suddenly, there was a report. Approximately an hour and a half later, the helicopters were scattered all over the sky, stating, "Please bring your children inside. Please bring your children inside." And as we thought, what's going on? They had just said that we had just reported that a child has just been kidnapped. And my dad was hugging me and holding me and, couldn't believe that could have just been me, the one that would have been kidnapped. Because in the area there, they had homes and in next to the shop. And so looks like that she had something on her mind, and she would proceed into doing what she had already planned to do. And yet it wasn't me. It was another child that was taken that day. Don't know their information. I don't know the details to it, but that's just the sad part of the story. So this is something. This is something that we should all remember. This is a story that I remembered. That when I had kids, I remember that they say a believer is not stung from the same hole twice. My dad definitely learned his lesson to make sure that he is outside with us at all times when we had stepped out of the shopping center and had wanted to play. But he was a little bit more cautious. We end up after that day, we were less likely to be playing outside. We would be my father would and my mother would only allow us to play most of the time on the inside due to the fact that this could happen again. We all have children, and back in the days there was just something normal at the time that children were kidnapped, and unfortunately children were sold. They were sold and they were taken, and who would have thought that I would have been one of those children that would have been kidnapped? I wouldn't have been who I am today. I was always wonder who I would have been if I was kidnapped, or would I be even alive today? That's a question I always thought about. So the lesson of the story is that one should learn from their experience. And my father, after that, learned that he should have called 911 because he could have avoided the next child that was being planned to be kidnapped. Coming new from Egypt, he didn't know that was something that he should have done. He wished he had done that after the incident, but he also didn't know if he, for some reason he just decided that it was not something that he had wanted to do at the time. But he knew that later when he found out that's what he should have done, it could have avoided the next child from being kidnapped. So this experience is, it's very scary to remember this incident. And like I said, I want to know who I would have been today. I'm glad that Allah Almighty has saved me from this situation, and that I was saved, and my dad, and I was able to be upbringed and brought with my parents. And I guess the moral of the story is, such a situation, a believer is not stung from the same hole twice. And I have learned from my experience that I would be careful with my own children, and that would never happen to them. And I'm grateful that happened to me, and it didn't happen to my own children. And I thank you.